So the spirits really want to talk about addiction and the dark spirit feeding frenzy that happens, which is very much part of the picture, part of the landscape of what starts to happen when we grab our massive pleasure buzz because we're in pain in our energy body, in our wound. We have a wound that's not healed, that keeps being triggered. We grab our energy. Now, as our energy, we have our pleasure lasts a certain amount of time. It won't last forever, of course, because the energy starts being used and the self-esteem, when we give ourselves toxin, it's giving ourselves a massive dose of unlove, which is a massive leak in our energy body and our self-esteem body. The whole thing is like our energy vase is diamonds. We are leaking our diamonds, our value. So we've given ourselves toxins. We start the going down. We're starting the going down. We're starting the going down. And this is really when the dark spirits come into their own. They want to feed off our leaking energy that's pouring out. That's their food. It's their fodder. You know, they're like pigs at the trough. You know, they really are. All feeding, you know, they swarm in on this. They swarm. There's not one of them. There's more than one of them. And sometimes they really swarm. And they will hang around an addictive person. They will hang around us if we are addictive. If we go on our addictive patterns, they'll be like, oh yeah, it's well worth hanging around Susan, isn't it? You know, at least once a week, you know, she'll do a good dip in value. Oh, that's a good feeding. This is a good feeding spot here. You know, well, I'll share it with you. You know, we'll stick here together because you can be sure maybe just once a month she'll go on a real dive. Oh yeah, sure. It's a great feeding hole, isn't it? It's a lovely feeding hole. Really super, really super. So that's what they're like. They're feeding. They're like pigs at the trough, feeding from our energy in the ether. Because we're all energy, and this is just another form of energy. It's a dark feeding energy. So we are tipping out freely our energy, our value, you know. So we go down and our self-criticism gets worse, our self-hate gets worse. More for them to eat, yum, 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 yum. Now, this is where it gets clever. This is where they get clever. If we imagine them as leeches that literally hop onto our energy, because this is what they do. We know what we feel like. This is me. I feel like this. This feels like me. Now, if these extra bodies, this little leeches, black leeches, sucking away at our blood, our lifeblood, if these little leeches have hopped onto our energy and latched on, what's our kind of weight going to feel like? It's a drag factor. They've added their energy bodies. So kind of we stop feeling quite the way that we did. This is very subtle, you know, and don't feel bad if you don't necessarily feel it or see it. But then it's like anything. When someone just points something out, it's all we needed perhaps was to be made aware of something, and then the penny drops. Okay, yes. So we cease to kind of feel like ourselves as we're going down that value crash. We feel less and less like ourselves. We become almost all craving. We're craving. We're going down and down and down and down. We're losing more energy. And there's this craving, oh, more. I've got to have another drink. And when I finish that one, I'm going to have another whiskey and then a vodka. And I'm going to have another drink. Now this urge. Oh, that feeling, you know, oh, satisfaction, oh, need, crave. The depths of that. This is where it gets clever. We no longer feel the join of where the leeches have come on to our bodies. So because we're energy, we kind of think they're having these feelings of like yum, 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 glutton, glutton. They're doing this to our energy and feasting, and just feasting and feeling that, oh God, oh. Now, those feelings of theirs have jumped onto our energy body, and we are feeling not only our own cravings, but the satisfaction cravings of these leeches. This is where we get muddled. We think it's just our feelings and our massive craving. Yes, we have got the craving, no doubt about that. We've got the craving. The extra bits of bodies is additional craving. So in a sense, what's happened is the feeling has become bigger for us, much bigger, almost too big to handle. The craving has become extreme. And this is what these leeches are achieving. What they do is they focus on their gluttony, their satiation, their satisfaction feeling. They are being satisfied. Oh, oh, oh. They're kind of having like orgasms, of satisfaction from their big feed that you're giving them. They have hooked onto us, onto our energy body, so we merge with their feelings. We think these are all our feelings. They are not. These leeches have additionally added extra percentages to our own feelings. So we think we're some kind of craving addiction monster because we feel like we are, because our craving has become exponentially bigger. But the fact is that more of these leeches have leapt on like a drag force, dragging us down with their urge to satisfy more and more and more and more. It's almost like they're sucking on the nipple. They're sucking harder and harder and harder and harder. Ooh, and getting that feeling. We are feeling their satisfaction on them sucking on our nipple, our energy nipple. We are feeling the build, the increase of that. And the more of them that jump on the feed, the heavier and heavier and heavier this becomes. The more urgy and base it becomes. So it's almost impossible to see, the lines between have been blurred. Where we begin and the leeches start, there isn't this, because we're energy first, there isn't this divide. We're in trouble because we think this is all us. We think we are. We've seen ourselves as this monstrous addict. Yes, we will have addiction needs based on our wound, but the additional weight that's been put on is not ours. But depending on how much pain we've got will depend kind of how low we really go. And almost therefore how many of these can jump on and keep on feeding more and more and more and more energy going down. We're losing all our energy, leaving ourselves. They're getting such a massive feed. We are feeling their satisfaction at their massive feed. Now, we can tell this is true because if we use all of our powers when we are craving, let's say we're really craving that to get drinking again, we've got to have that drink, and it's like they have all jumped on because they've seen the little crack just about to open up. Now, if we don't go there, and yes, it takes all of our willpower, to not go there. If we don't do that, they're hanging around waiting for that feed. And they can only really latch on if we start fully leaking. So they're waiting for the feed. They're waiting for the feed. And we know they're waiting. We know we're waiting. We don't know if we're going to be able to manage to not do this thing. We don't really want to do the toxin, but can we just... And for sort of half an hour to an hour, there may be this very intense will we, won't we, will we, won't we, will we, won't we battle, you know, and they're really waiting and hoping for that to tip over that edge. If we pass that test, if we just don't, again, if we achieve success and we just don't take that whiskey bottle, for example, we just don't do it. It's taken all our willpower, all our strength to not do it. We've succeeded in not unloving ourselves with toxin. And they've lost, they can't, there's nothing for them to feed on. There is nothing for them to feed on. And strangely, coincidentally, we will lose that, maybe half an hour to an hour, we will lose that, if we've won that battle and walked away, we will lose that sense of intense craving, which makes no sense really. The reason it makes sense is because these leeches have dropped off and given up. So they're, ooh, urgency, here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh. Wait a minute. Well, this Johnny, what's going on? We've always had a really good guarantee of feed here, haven't we? God. Yeah, it's worth hanging around still though, isn't it, you know? He's not out of the woods, is he, yet, you know? He's not out of the woods, you know? He always get at least every 3 weeks or something, or maybe once a month, you know? It's worth popping back, isn't it? All right, we'll make it a spot. We'll come back, and this is what they do. They will wait around us sure addicts, you know, knowing that sooner or later, they'll get a good feed. But that increase in the craving is their feeling that because we don't accept or maybe realize we're energy. Energy can hop on to energy, can latch on. Energy can hop on. Energy can exchange. Energy is more sort of fluid, really. But in particular, these energy leeches just hop on the ride. And off we go, you know. And they'll wait outside rides, different people. Ooh, that one's looking. Ooh, look, they'll see the little leaks of value coming out. And they hedge their bets. Ooh, what about Susanna over there? Oh, go. And they all shoot over there and leech onto that person because that person is leaking energy. It's a feed. It's a feed in the ether. It's a feed. They just follow the feed. So they will literally give up and go away. And isn't it strange how if we pass that test, of course we keep our self-esteem, we keep our self-worth. We didn't self-hate ourselves like we normally didn't fill ourselves with poison and toxins and as an act of unlove, so we didn't leak our vase that time. And we won that battle. You know, kudos to us. We won that battle. Each is a battle we have to win, and then feel confident we can win the next battle and the next battle. They've gone away, and you will have just that bit more respect for yourself and love for yourself because you know that there was a trigger, there was a bullet, you know, and you just didn't go there. You didn't self-destruct. Good on you, you know. But it's not meant to be easy, this turning away and going towards self-love, you know, is a choice, and it's a tough choice sometimes, you know. It's a real action, not words kind of thing. Action being louder than words kind of thing. In our actions, we have to follow the path of self-love, you know, not go down that road of the feeding frenzy, you know, feeding others thanks to the fact that we're pissing out everything that's good and wonderful and valuable in our energy, of our energy awareness body, you know. But there's more going on here. This is why addiction, and of course, when these leeches latch onto us, it's like there's this massive gravitational force, pull factor, dragging us, attempting to drag us down, down, down. The weight of that dimensionally on our energy body, it makes it so incredibly hard, you know. Imagine being forced down, being pulled down by those feelings of, God, I've got to go lower. I've got to go. They're the ones who are enjoying the feeling by this point. They are going, oh, we've kind of, we've had our pleasures and it's kind of like, that doesn't taste nice anymore, that big bowl of ice cream it just doesn't, fifth, sixth whiskey, I'll just keep doing it, But they're going, oh, somebody's going, oh, somewhere, and it's them. They're still feeding. But that gravitational force reaches a sort of a pitch of intensity. It's big. It reaches its pitch where there's a big swarm of them, because they know that the weightier they are, the more of them that they are, feeling that feeling of intense satisfaction, their orgasm. It's like a multi-orgasms, they're all going, go down. We're all having, every time you go down a bit further, we all have a bigger orgasm. Oh, oh, oh. That's what we're picking up. That's the feeling we're picking up. We don't realize these are other things that have these feelings are coming from something else. Some of it's ours, most of it isn't. We've got, say, 1% of it, 99% of it is coming from other. Once we make this connection, we can just allow our awareness to be aware of it and hold firm. And realize, whoa, this is, it's kind of being made to be bigger than me. I'm not the failure I thought I was. No, I'm not, I can do this, I've got this, Let me just be aware of my feelings on it. Yeah, it's going to go really down and dark and they're going to drag me down. These things are going to drag me down. I'm not going to let them. I'm going to see that there's something that's doing this kind of pulling me down. I'm going to try and make this separation. Try and see all those good things that I've got going for me. Bring our energy levels up. Fight it, Bring our love up. Do something loving. Okay, stop now. Go and do something loving. What can we do that's loving? Go and brush my hair. Go and have a lovely shower. Just something loving, to pull out from their power. Let's give them that power.